You know, despite everything that's going on in this country, vaccine mandates, which by the way, I live in New York City, and they just passed one of the strictest mandates, if not the strictest mandate in all of the country, the rise of tyranny, the left wing embracing political violence as a viable election strategy last year. All these show trials of people who should not have even been put on trial, let alone been at risk of losing their entire lives. I've never taken the doomer position. I've never been one to say that it's the end of the world. I've never been one to say that we are living in desperate and the absolute worst times. And that's because genuinely, I don't feel that way. And one of the reasons why I can't hold that position is because I truly believe we are in the stupidest time period of all time. If you're not paying attention to what's going on in the Jussie Smollett trial, which by the way, it is an absolute shame that there are no cameras in the Jussie Smollett trial, so we have to rely on accounts from his attorneys, from the media, from the prosecution and the judge and all that, because we really should be seeing this in HD. In fact, I think we might need to have an Article 5 constitutional convention just to put cameras in the courtroom for this trial. That's how amazing it is. Then you're just missing everything, because in this trial recently, Jussie Smollett's attorney, who we're going to go over in great detail, happens to be a huge race grifter, had an emotional meltdown and fled the courtroom in tears with her mother. That's how bad it's going for Jussie Smollett in his case right now, and we're going to break into it. We're going to break it down. We're going to get it uptight, down low, whatever the kids are saying these days. But first, I have a sponsor, but also something very important to tell you guys. The last video I did on Jussie Smollett was claimed by CBS for my use of that clip of Ellen Page. I am going to fight this claim to the ends of the earth, CBS. You are not getting a dime from me, and the fact that you blocked that video in some territories is ridiculous, which is why you should consider getting a VPN that allows you to stream things from other nations' virtual shield transition. Did you know that the top 5 tech companies spend millions of dollars lobbying at the state, local, and federal level against your online privacy? I'm talking about the big ones, companies like Microsoft, Apple, Amazon, Facebook, and Google, all interested and bragging about defeating bills at the state and federal level to protect you. Well, here on HAW, we do not wait for government protection. We go out and protect ourselves, and what I use to protect myself is Virtual Shield. They're no-log VPN, they're incredibly fast and easy to utilize, and on top of that, if you sign up using my custom URL, virtualshield.com/justice, you will get a 30-day free trial plus 50% off your subscription price for the rest of your lives. It is an ongoing deal in perpetuity. Shield yourself. Don't wait on the government. virtualshield.com/justice. Seriously, I am pissed off about that claim, but there's no way I'm letting it go, and there's no way we're not going to cover Jussie Smollett's disastrous defense. Now, you need to understand first and foremost that Jussie Smollett has a team of attorneys. This is a sketch of the Jussie Smollett defense side. He is the third from the left, but just look at how many people are there. However, the attorney we're going to talk about specifically is a woman called Tamara Walker. Now, everything about Tamara Walker, from what I can see, is as if this is a parody, much like Jussie Smollett's claims, if you're not remembering them, were a parody of what people actually believe that Trump people do. Just to give you a quick rundown right quick, Jussie Smollett accused Trump supporters of attacking him and yelling out while they were attacking him, "Hey, Empire."
I could only go off of their words. I mean, who says empire, this MAGA country, ties a noose around your neck and pours bleach on you?
Friendly neighbor, which I'm using as substitutes for the F slur for gay people and the N word, then attacked him, threw bleach on him, tied a noose around him, and yelled, "This is MAGA country" at him because the Trump supporters are really angry about Jussie going hard at 45.
Why do you think you were targeted?
I can just assume, I mean, I come really, really hard against 45.
And they don't like the show Empire due to his potential character arc. Now, this hate crime story was absurd on its face. First of all, it happened at 2 a.m. during a polar vortex, so it was about minus 10 degrees. So if the people behind this didn't have some indication that Jussie was going to be there, then the bleach that they threw on him would have actually froze at those temperatures. Second of all, Trump supporters don't watch Empire, and they don't know who Jussie Smollett is, or at least didn't know until he did this hate hoax. Third of all, Trump supporters and right-wing people in general do not call out random identity groups associated with people as they're attacking them.
They called me a They called me
It is very rare, even in a hate crime, for people to throw a generic racial epithet at the person that they're attacking, let alone two specific ones and the name of the show attached to that. You could tell Jussie Smollett had a giant ego when he was imagining this hate crime, when he had to include that these people were aware of the show that he was on. So they were targeting him specifically, not targeting him just for being a black gay in the gay district of Chicago. So he messed up on multiple different fronts. Now, we ultimately ended up finding out that Jussie Smollett was not attacked by white people, despite what he said in interviews.
Did you get any kind of description of the attack?
I gave a body description, and I, because I saw this, right here or whatever.
Oh, so you said that it was a white guy. What happened?
It feels like if I had said it was a Muslim or Mexican or someone black, I feel like the doubters would have supported me a lot more. And that says a lot about the place that we are in our country right now. The fact that we have these fear mongrels, these people that are trying to separate us, and it's just not okay.
Oh, so you said that it was a white guy. What happened?
And he was instead attacked by two Nigerians called the Osundaro brothers. Now, these were people that Jussie had gotten appearances on his show Empire. These are people that he appeared to be friends with, and these are people that Jussie claims he hired as personal trainers at the cost of $3,500. Now, the Osundaro brothers allege, when they were finally arrested as the perpetrators of this, that Jussie paid them to stage this hate hoax, which makes sense because Jussie was saying that he was attacked by white people, and his story made no sense at all. And the idea that they would attack him but randomly frame Trump supporters doesn't make any sense, considering they were friends and some of them were actually in the employ, or one of them was in the employ of Jussie Smollett. Didn't make any sense at all. Obviously, we know what happened. Jussie staged this. The motive for that, whether it's just attention, whether it's a desire to be a victim, whether it was to get more money on Empire, which is what the Chicago PD allege, neither here nor there. Point is, we're pretty sure, even though we have to say alleged because he hasn't been convicted, that Jussie was in fact behind this. But Jussie wants to defend himself. He wants to defend his name. That's why he's got a dream team of lawyers. And we've already gone over and made fun of one of Jussie's lawyers for making the claim that the reason Jussie Smollett saw white skin, because they're claiming the Osundaro brothers did this for no reason and framed Trump supporters for no reason, even though it would help Jussie Smollett based on them hating Jussie Smollett, again, for no reason, that while they were doing the attack and they were already masked, they were also wearing white face paint under the eyes and around the eyes, like, how Batman does that in the costume in the movies, so that Jussie would read the attack as white people.
According to the court records, Smollett was very clear with police on the night of the attack that his attackers were white. He said they had masks on and gloves, but he saw their eyes and he saw the skin surrounding their eyes. Was that a false statement?
So just to be clear, he only saw one of the attackers. One of them he didn't see. He saw one through a ski mask. Again, he could not see their body. Everything was covered, and he had a full ski mask on except the area around the eyes. He did tell police that from what he saw, he thought it was pale skin or white or pale skin was, I think, what he said. And that was and that's why he initially did have a hard time.
Why did he say that? He could have said, I don't know.
He could have, but this, again, he's being truthful.
But if it's the Osundaro brothers, what are the chances that that's the case, that he saw somebody with light skin?
Well, I think there's Obviously, you can disguise that. You could put makeup on. There is actually, interestingly enough, a video. I think police did minimal investigation in this case. It took me all of 5 minutes to Google. I was looking up the brothers, and one of the first videos that showed up actually was one of the brothers in whiteface doing a Joker monologue with white makeup on. And so it's not implausible.
Oh, so you said that it was a white guy. What happened?
So they hated him so much, they staged a hate crime against him because they wanted to hurt him not that bad, and that would help his career because reasons. Already, a lot of trouble. Already, giant problems in his defense. But that defense attorney I thought was the most ridiculous. I thought would be the most absurd. Turns out, Tamara Walker is even more of a clown show than this woman. I looked at her Facebook page. I actually did research on this. And wouldn't you be surprised, her Facebook page is exactly what you would expect if somebody was memeing Jussie Smollett's lawyer's Facebook page. Right on the homepage, you see a tribute to Ruth Bader Ginsburg, the notorious RBG. Again, it's as if this was constructed by the gods of parody themselves, because the next thing I noticed on this woman's Facebook page, and again, this is her official attorney Facebook page, is another, this white person was arrested unharmed despite this crime versus this black person in totally different circumstances that ended up being killed. Then there's this other post about the root cause of everything being oppression that, again, I need to clarify to you, I did not dig through the Facebook page in order to find. I just went to the post of this attorney's official Facebook page, and this is what you see in reverse chronological order. I know the dates haven't been updated in a while, but this is what I saw without searching. This is literally just what's up there. This is representative of the person who would defend Jussie Smollett from this hate crime hoax that, in my mind, he obviously perpetrated, although it is alleged by the state and hopefully soon to be proved beyond a reasonable doubt. Just listen to this. The root cause of every riot is some kind of oppression. If you want to end riots, you have to end the oppression. If you want to end a riot without ending the root cause, your agenda isn't about peace and justice. It's about silencing and control. And finally, we have this post that says, anyways, Breonna Taylor. Again, black background, white text, meant to seem more dramatic and profound than it actually is, promoting the myths, the lies of Breonna Taylor. This woman seems to back a lot of myths and lies around race issues in this nation. A little bit of a pattern for you guys to detect, but I just wanted you to get a sense of the person that's representing Jussie Smollett, because we're going to go over reporting and you're going to think to yourself, how can an adult human being who is working as an attorney be such a whiny brat child in a courtroom? And this will kind of give you a little bit of an indication of who we're dealing with, and that way you won't be so shocked when I tell you what this woman actually did in a court of law where she's supposedly trying to represent a client that needs a defense. So, the way this breaks down is that obviously the trial is not going well for Jussie Smollett. He claimed multiple different times that evil, white, racist Trump supporters who were both evil, white, and racist, and Trump supporters, and homophobic, attacked him during a polar vortex with bleach and a noose at 2 in the morning after his flight was delayed 4 hours. And honestly, it's so ridiculous. You guys have heard it already and all that. They turned out to be his friends and Nigerians.
Oh, so you said that it was a white guy. What happened?
And the idea that they were yelling out, and I could just imagine the Nigerian accent, this is mega country. I don't know why I went Indian with the accent right there. And Jussie didn't recognize his friends that he was texting about how he was delayed, possibly to, indicate that he wanted to meet them up later to set up this hoax, is ridiculous. It's absurd on every level, and it just goes to show you how Jussie has no case. So obviously his trial's not going well. However, the attorneys are trying to make the case based on tweets, old posts, old text messages, that the Osendar brothers are in fact homophobic, and therefore them yelling out the F slur for gay people, which I call friendly, makes sense. Now, they have no way at all to justify the aggressive nature in which Jussie alleged they called the N-word to him, because they're also black. In fact, Jussie's half black, half white. I think he's French. The famous French actor Jussie Smollett, as a lot of you get mad at me for not calling him. So they would be more black than him, so why would they be dropping a hard N-bomb on him and then screaming it's MAGA country? But they're trying to make the case for homophobia. Now, at a certain point during the cross-examination, when Walker was bringing up a text exchange between the two brothers, or one of the brothers and somebody else, where the Osundar brother referred to a gay person as a sicko, there was an objection, and the judge said, this is collateral, like it has nothing to do with the case at hand, and he ended up agreeing with the objection and moved them off the line of questioning. This caused the Jussie Smollett defense team to ask for a sidebar with the judge so they could discuss how this was in fact relevant, because it goes to the state of mind of the Osundar brothers, because they're making the case legitimately that the Osundar brothers hated Jussie, and in part hated him because of the fact that he was not a straight. So that's the argument that they were trying to make. Now, due to the fact that the judge referred to the line of questioning as collateral while they were in the sidebar, the defense asked for a mistrial because, you know, when things are going badly for your side, as we learned from Binger, you try to throw the case in such a way that you can start all over again. And he did not grant that motion for a mistrial. And normally, this would be where it ended. However, we're dealing with a woke person who loves to play the victim and loves to boost up other people who like to wrongly play the victim. So of course it didn't land there. So then it came out that Walker was alleging that the judge lunged at her in an aggressive way that scared her, based on this judge's presumed evil, racist, white supremacy, whatever. And this is their new strategy, which again, you can tie back to the Rittenhouse case. When in doubt, when things aren't going well for your side because you have no case, smear the judge. Now, the judge obviously says, I didn't lunge at her. That's absolutely ridiculous. There's like 25 million attorneys on the Smollett side. I think Jussie thinks if he gets an attorney for every charge he's facing, that's a good way for him to try to beat it. They would have all reported or like said something to the similar that he was lunging at them. But then it went even further. Walker then said every time they make an objection, which by the way, I can understand a judge getting annoyed by terrible objections, that the judge was actually snarling at the defense based on their objection. And they're claiming that this snarling judge is prejudicing the jury. And of course, he's really aggressive in anti-defense because, you know, he lunged at this innocent civil rights activist lawyer, and therefore they need a mistrial. And at one point, the defense team for Smollett actually legitimately demanded that the stenographer write down in the court record that the judge was snarling at them so that could be reflected in the paper record of this. And when this didn't work, surprisingly, shockingly, when this didn't work, this move for a mistrial, this attempt to smear the judge, Walker broke down crying in the courtroom. This fully grown adult woman, who is ridiculous in every way on social media, broke down crying. And, you know, she's a prestigious attorney. She's on Smollett, who has money. She's on his defense team. So this is ridiculous. And in fact, the breakdown wasn't like a temporary thing where she got emotional and she got over it and powered through it. She actually left the courtroom with her mother because she was so emotionally unstable, emotionally ill-equipped, emotionally disturbed, whatever phraseology you want to use, by the way the trial was going, that she literally could not continue going on. And Jussie Smollett's remainder of his defense team, all those other lawyers, actually had to step in and continue what was going on in the trial. Now, Walker, for her part, claims that she did not cry in the courtroom. She's a strong woman and there's no way she broke down. She just claims that her voice cracked due to the fact that she was shocked about what was occurring in this courtroom. And she actually said that this was part of a long pattern of disrespect in American courtrooms, systemic sexism against female attorneys. And then she said it was a long pattern of disrespect against black female attorneys. So she went and played the black woman card in order to attack the judge in the press. Imagine how ridiculous of a timeline we have to be in. That Jussie Smollett, the hate hoaxer himself, is actually being represented by an emotionally undisciplined, woke hate hoaxer that actually is perpetuating a hate hoax within the courtroom while trying to defend Jussie Smollett from a hate hoax. I don't even know how many times I just said the word hate hoax in a sentence, but that's how insane this trial is right now in this moment. And God, we should have had cameras in every single corner of this courtroom. HD 4K, we should be able to download this. I should be clipping this for you rather than describing it to you, because this is absolutely amazing. Again, she said that she was lunged at aggressively by this white man judge, and he's part of a long pattern of disrespect and racism and sexism against black female attorneys who are not respected because they're black and female. And she didn't cry because she's a strong woman, but her voice cracked under the weight of the systemic oppression that she experienced. And look at her Facebook page, and you could totally tell that this is a woman that doesn't just represent crazy leftist ideology. She's a good attorney. I swear to God. Again, ridiculous in every possible way. I don't know how much more crazy the Jussie Smollett story will actually get, but I will be following this day to day, reading the reports on it because I can't watch this on TV. But if you're in the Cook County area, consider stopping by this courtroom and observing this for yourself. You have a fundamental right to observe the trial. All these occur in open court, and this looks like it's better than pay-per-view if we're being perfectly honest. But hey, those are just my thoughts. Maybe you disagree with me. Maybe you actually think that systemic structural racism and evil white man judge was attacking Jussie's strong black woman attorney. If so, let me know that wrong opinion down in the comments below. And if you don't, you can leave comments too. Or don't make me do the Philip DeFranco thing where I say this show is a conversation. It's not a conversation. It's never a conversation. It's a show. Anybody who says that to you, again, lying. I know I'm repeating myself 2 videos in a row, but it's important. If you like the video, then, hit the like button, subscribe for more content, follow me on all my social medias, support me via the support links in the description box of this video. This has been me talking about the thing that I talked about during the course of the video. You don't need me to recap it. Till next time.